It is now December and we are in an 11 portal month, and I'm going to keep it real with you guys. The 11 is a master frequency. Master numbers are typically more intense. The natural disposition of the 11 is that it wants to illuminate anything and everything. It wants to turn on the brightest goddamn light it can at the bottom of the darkest point in the ocean. So, with this in mind, I'm going to start with a poem, which is from Alana Fairchild's Sacred Rebels Oracle. I pulled a card and it's After the Storm. So, taking a deep breath in and out, and just receive this. Let these words pass through you, and then we'll get into the rest of it. Storms so wild, storms of grace, I call your blessing into my heart now. May I release and let go. May I be revitalized and grow. I open up my heart to you now. Storms of grace, I stand my ground as I allow your magic to cleanse and surround. Any outgrown energy which I no longer need, anything which will sap or deplete rather than feed. Storms of grace, merciful earth, with your help I experience rebirth. And to claim this even more deeply, if you put a hand on your heart, you can just say to yourself, through divine creative genius, this is now so. Okay, so we are going to cover how this energy is going to show up in your personal journey, your self-healing journey. We're going to cover how it's going to come up in your relationships and in your work. And before we get into this, and there will be a little bit of light language too. But before we go through this, there's just a couple of housekeeping reminders that I would like to drop in. So the first thing that I just want to mention is that things are happening very, very quickly this month. The 11, like I said, illumination, it has this connection with light. What travels faster than the speed of light? It's pretty freaking quick. So our lives right now, all areas of life right now, it can have that shock aspect. You turn on the light really quickly. And this could be great. This could be you jump the timeline, you go and do the thing, that new idea, it just bang, drops in. And it may also be, oh my God, very quick awakening that is through the density of your shadow, facing the polarity within, It can go all different ways, but I'm just letting you know it's happening quickly. Now, the second thing I want to mention is that because the 11 is a master frequency and we're all now having this in our collective energy field, that comes with heightened sensitivity. It is very sensitive. So this is the time to protect your energy in the ways that you need, whether it's jumping in the ocean, saltwater cleanse, whatever it is that works for you. Be mindful of your aura, be mindful of your energy, and it's okay if you're sensitive. I'll also mention this kind of sensitivity can also come through emotionally and physically, not just energetically. So when I say physical, this can mean you find that you're more sensitive to particular foods. You find that right now you're feeling the cold a bit more, you're feeling the heat a bit more. It's like the extreme end of like, whoa, I'm just like feeling everything right now. Like it could be like that. And of course, with your emotions too. Like, why am I crying so much? Or why am I so angry? What is going on? It could be the whole full spectrum. Or even like, whoa, I could just bliss out and giggle for fucking ever. This is great. Embrace it all. And now the third thing that I want to mention is that because this is a really heightened sort of energy, the importance on grounding is imperative. It is important. This is the time to do it. So cultivating our beautiful Mother Earth Pachamama connection, feeling that safety, letting her receive the energy that you can no longer hold, that you no longer need. And I don't know about you guys, but I love to just know that I'm loved like so much. I love how Pachamama always has that frequency and vibration. So this can help us as we travel through the storm. Okay, beautiful people. All right. So this December, I want us to be mindful as well that the 11 energy has already started to come online from last month. So halfway through November, if not the 11/11 portal, this whole 11 energy has just been like influxing the collective. And I don't know about you, but it's been an intense time. And this will continue through to January. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of collective examples of the ways that the 11 can illuminate things, just so you can see the totality of it. Because I just want to also add, with the 11, it has the ones that equal the 2. Ones, self-love, independence. The 11, fantasies, Piscean energy, saint-like frequency, psychic ability. The 2, polarity. Yin yang, like all of it, like the density and the light are all combined in this energy. So I remember back in, I think it was 2021 or 2022, or even 2020 anyway. It's a bit of a blur now. Who knows what time is it anyway. It was an 11 portal month, and I distinctly remember that on the news, they were talking about uncovering child sex trafficking rings. It was being exposed publicly. It was in the mainstream media. And this to me is an example of the ways that illumination takes place in the collective. It shines the light in the darkest places. And sometimes, like that storm energy from that prayer, that poem was saying, it's like through that what is seemingly out of our control, which can feel uncomfortable, however, is part of turning the light on. So that's one example. Another example of illumination could simply be that you feel new levels of light in you, a new lightness of heart, a new lightness of mind, and you feel so inspired, like so freaking inspired with these new creative ideas. You have illuminated a new pathway for yourself. You have illuminated new directions, new potentials, and new possibilities. So it's got this full freaking array. All right, so strap in, basically. Strap the fuck in. Now, the 11 is both a new moon and a full moon energy. And don't worry, I'll get to how this is going to come through personally, work, relationships, but I'm setting the scene right now, So the 11 is the new moon and the full moon energy. Now, in order for us to fully embody the totality of an 11, we first have to jump through and master numbers 1 to 9. And 1 being the beginning, the new seeds, we journey all the way through to the 9, where we release, we cut the cords, we let go, we close, we complete. And something really important in order for this energy to then translate to the 11, which is an 11-2, not just about polarity, about relationships, about the 1 + 1, 2 individual sovereign beings together in relationship. To really get there, Well, I mean, we're there, you know what I mean? We're doing it, but let's illuminate how this can play out and how we can work better with it. So that 1 to 9 frequency, we move through forgiveness. We move through the love. We move through tolerance to clear the karma in our relationships. So this can be full on. It can be in relationships, and it can just be personally. It can be professionally. But it's not to say that you can really go through this 11 without paying reverence and just acknowledgement to the fact that 1 to 9 is a building block in order to then get to the 11, raising consciousness, making the wish, new beginnings in consciousness, manifestation, and, you know, alignment, la 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 la, you know, it's they go together. They go together. So embrace it all. Now, with this new moon energy, I just have a few light codes that want to come through as we are cutting the cords. Ya tu alenya makua tikitata amutua inya na la inya na la inya na la utu sutu inya na la ita ite te te uai 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 inya ala una na leading from within la u Aincha kata la inya, ainya kala utuku inya na laka uanya. I'm feeling it all in that higher heart. Lilia mayana yana yana yana, inya utu ya yana ma la ita tata. Imakatu tuku chakinya tata sokuatana sikinya na na na. All right, let's just take a breath in, and maybe you feel like you need to move your body a little bit. We're going to come back into the info. So something else that I want to mention as well is that we have the 11 portal month in an 8 portal year, which together creates an 88-7. Yeah, another very potent energy, another master frequency. And what's really interesting is that this is like having the 8-8 portal and the 11-11 portal, like themes from both of them combined in this one month as we wrap up 2024 to then move and leapfrog into our 9 portal year next year and close an entire 1 to 9 year cycle for the collective. So right now it feels like this 11 energy is really illuminating all of whatever we're left journeying through, like in our own personal portals, for example, your own personal year, like I'm in a 2 year. This one for me this month is illuminating everything that might be residual for me that I haven't yet looked at in my relationships, in that 2, in my polarity, in creating peace and balance. And so whatever your numbers are, it's going to be doing that same thing, because right now, this month is the last month where the 8 portal year will be the most dominant vibration before we finally shift into January, where 9 takes the lead. 8 will still be present, right? 8 is still present for the first 6 months of next year, but 9 is the dominant one. It's just like for these last 6 months that we've had of this year, we've had 8 as the dominant vibration, but 9 lingering, okay? So we're starting to get flavors and we're tasting it. I don't mind it. It's all right. It's kind of high, kind of hectic, kind of heavy, but also pretty cool, you know? Shit's happening. So it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep transitioning. All right, guys. Now, let's get into how this 11 portal energy is going to be impacting your relationships, because this is a juicy one. The 11 is about relationships anyway. It has a 2 in it. It is connected to our relationships, our collaborations, our partnerships, specifically our one-on-one connections with people. So what can that mean? I'm so glad you asked. the vision that I was shown was like two threads of string at first that come together. So like one string combines with the other string and they wrap together. And I was like, relationships, one-on-one with people. And then those strings started widening and it looked like DNA. And then it hit me, of course, it's our one-on-one relationships with others that are going to be creating these DNA activations, these DNA shifts. We're going to be coming into relationships in these one-on-one chitty chats, one-on-one hangouts, whatever it is, and we're going to start shifting and recoding. And all of this dormant potential is popping. So enjoy. Another thing that can be happening in this is because we have such a focus on relationships, that means we're going to be dealing with the shadows of it too. An example of how this could show up is that whatever relationships you have had in the past, whatever relationships you are having right now, that have a level of enmeshment or codependency, those are shadows of the two, it's going to start clearing, if you will. It'll become even more in your awareness. Ways that this can show up, ways that you might become aware of this, is like you start to realize that, oh my God, I've taken on someone else's beliefs and stories about themselves that were projected onto me, whether that's happening at this stage of your life or in a past stage, it's all good. But it's coming more into the gifts of the ones that are in the 11, our self-love, our independence, our sovereignty. Like, hang on, these are my values. Why am I listening to your values? They're not my values. Hang on a second. And it's strengthening ourselves to be like, oh my God, okay. Imagine your spine just gets a little bit more erect, a little bit more upright. And you go, bada bing, bada boom, I'm good. Now, for so many of you who listen, who I know are beautiful little star seeds who just want to help and love on everyone, this frequency can be particularly illuminating for you in your relationships. All of the ways in which perhaps you've not, or you've, really just wanted to be in service as best you can, but some things happened in the field where you've taken on stuff that's just not yours. And, it's not your karma. It's not your monkey. It's not your circus. And you've just got to do you right now. And that can be really challenging. So I feel like the 11 helps us get unstuck, unsticky, out of these sticky sort of relationships and things like that. So this is interesting as well because I feel like, the 11 is actually a twin flame energy. So in this month, there's actually a lot of potential for having twin flame connections. Of course, this can be romantic, and also these can be your friends. These can be people in which in your relationship chart, you share an 11 or some other master frequency that holds an 11 in it, because it's part of a building block to then go to higher master numbers. And in those dynamics, you are just looking at mirrors and reflections. And it's either, somewhere along the lines of uncomfortable, confronting parts of you that you've wanted to reject that, you can't run from anymore. And you're now willing to master the numbers 1 to 9 before the 11 and bring them in through forgiveness and bring it in through love, and just accept that any murkiness is just more karma, and we're just not doing that anymore. We're letting that one go now. So it's healing, it's bringing love in through these relationships. And this is also a good time for new epiphanies in relationships, resolutions, like all these things when you're with, say, for example, you've gone to a party and you get back in the car with one of your friends and it's just you two. It's that one-on-one dynamic and you're just talking, you're reflecting, you're reviewing, and you're like, oh my God. And the ideas in your mind are just going tick, 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 tick. That's why I do that. That's why that person said that thing. Oh my God, this is what I need to do next. I didn't see it like that. Like it's that light coming, things coming through at the speed of light and just like lightning bolts. Bam. Oh, fuck. That's what's up. All right, I get it. Now, something else that could come up when I was saying before about how with these relationships, you might be dealing in the shadows of it, like where there's been any sort of codependency, enmeshment, or just imbalance, right? Just any form of imbalance. And what you may be experiencing, what I've definitely been experiencing, is this need for resolution, a desire to heal it. And like I was saying before about mastering 1 through to 9 before the 11 and recognizing, man, if this is bothering me, something's not being forgiven, something's not being talked about, love hasn't entered this space, what's going on here? And deciding to face it. So you can do this if that resonates with you. You can do this in person if you need to reach out to that person, whatever. But you can just do this energetically. You can do this in your own space. You can sit in meditation and set the intention to connect with that person and say what you need to say. And be prepared to listen back as well. And you just talk. You start a dialogue. And before you know it, you just do whatever you need to do to come to a place of acceptance, to get out what you need to get out, and to let it go as best you can. So relationships, this is some of the gifts that are lurking around here. And I also reckon there's a lot of space for new relationships this month. I feel like the web is coming and it's stickier than before. And there are so many more of us who are just so determined to do the work, to heal, to live on a planet with a consciousness that is in harmony. And I really feel like this is starting to take place and you're going to attract it. I feel like this is the month where it comes in easier. You just keep being mindful, being aware of the relational patterns that have been at play in those one-on-one dynamics. You keep being mindful, you keep loving on yourself and create more space to have this exchange with others. There's so much potential here. And another thing I'm going to add is that because the 11 is connected with our psychic abilities, our intuitive abilities, you may even be finding that you're more telepathic with your friends. You're more connected with your friends. You're like, oh my God, they said it, but I was thinking it. Oh my God, There's a lot of potential as well. Maybe you want to come together in those one-on-one connections and channel and set the intention to access information for yourselves, for one another. Start, working with these one-on-one connections even more. So yeah, a couple of things like that. And let's get into work. Work is super freaking exciting this month. It's super exciting because we have the 11 combined with the 8 portal year, creating the 88. The 8 being about business, abundance, law of the land, legal system, like lots of potentials. And the 11 is really, to me, very connected to our mission, very connected to vision. And like I was saying before, it's a very saint-like frequency. So this desire to serve, and it's in that pureness. So you may find, whether you're self-employed or whether you are simply, working, wherever you're working, it's all good. But you may start getting these new seeds, these new desires, these new, things pop that are like, how can I help people right now? How can I use my talents and my abilities in a way that are going to be useful to the people around me? What's lighting me up? How can I light them up? And even applying that with your colleagues, or applying that in your own work, in your messaging, your marketing, whatever it is, and making it prominent. And with these eights, the eights and the 88, creating the 88-7, we've got universal law happening here. We've got universal balancing happening, divine knowing. There is so much potent potential here for conscious business, for, having spiritual pursuits with your work. And there's a lot to be said here. There's just so much potential. You may also find, if we're going to also flip it, look at the shadows, the way that we work with the shadow for that illumination, it may be illuminating the dark of the workplace that you're in, or the dark within the business that you're running, within the overscheduling, or the, way someone's speaking to you, or that you're speaking to them, anything. It's bringing things up so that they can be looked at. So that can come through in a lot of ways. If you want to practically work with this energy, I suggest actually something I did for myself last night, inspired by the new moon. I started to just draw. And I wrote down on a piece of paper, like, I'm on mission. Lately, I've been wanting to connect to that feeling more within me. And then I just started writing all these different things around it to just help me connect to it. So I was like, I serve my community, and like my womb, it knows so much and shit. And I was like, yeah. I also got my period, so I was like, it's happening. And that really worked for me. Now, I'm loving using creativity. I'm moving into a 3-portal year. So, right now, like, that for me is where it's at. So you may find with your personal portal year that this is going to be a way that you want to relate with your mission, your vision, and your work. So more to come, but start thinking about, or just becoming aware now as I'm saying all of this, to things that are already happening, basically. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the self, how this energy is supporting you in your self-healing journey, your relationship with yourself. And, really, if we look at relationships and we look at work, it's all a self-healing journey for many of us anyway. And it's all comes back to the self anyway. So really, there's not much of separation. However, if we're just talking about yourself in your bedroom, doing your thing, whatever, it's self-love through mirrors right now. The 11 just mirrors everyone back to themselves. So it's this beautiful opportunity of inner illumination, revealing the dark parts within ourselves and bringing them into the light. It's also a good opportunity for soul retrieval and, maybe feeling inspired to connect with your intuition more, connect with your abilities more. Have these visions. What are you thinking about? What are you seeing? What are you perceiving? And I think as well, because the 11 is so magical and heightened, and we're also going to be vibrating with like a whole field of people collectively emanating and working within this energy, I think it's also really good to just be mindful on doing as many energy clearings, self-clearings that you need to do, because people are going to be moving a lot of stuff right now. You could be moving a lot of stuff right now. So where are you sending it? Into the earth, through a portal back to source? What are you doing? Be really mindful with the energy. Be really mindful with what you're working with. Set clear intentions. Create sacred spaces to work within. Be mindful of what channels you listen to and what channels do not resonate with you. You have mass amounts of spiritual wisdom and authority within your being, and I feel that this is also an amazing month to tune into it and to listen to it. There is just so much that could be said for what's about to happen this month, and I have absolute faith and trust that if you're listening to this, you're already on the best path for you, and ultimately you can't fuck it up. We're all going the same way. ascension station, all right? And we'll either be dragged there kicking and screaming, or we'll surrender and flow a little bit with it. Maybe we'll do a bit of both because we just zig when we think we should zag. Who knows? It's all good either way. So as we move through, fucking do the best you can. I believe in you, all right? I believe in you. You are safe. You are amazing. You are a freaking angel of light on this planet. And I am so grateful to have you here. The world is like so reverent for your presence on this planet right now. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now, before we get into the light language portion, I just want to let you know that I have now released a 2025 Numerology Guide Reading. So if you are curious to learn about which personal year cycle you are in, this reading will focus on your numerological themes for 2025 and, how they're going to influence you and what this means for your life trajectory as a whole. Looking not just at the number you're journeying through now and for next year, but, where are you in that 1 to 9 year cycle? What does that mean for you? We'll also look at breaking down each month in accordance with your numerological cycles and support you to plan with purpose. So you can use numerology in this reading to create a roadmap that will help you stay aligned with your higher ideals and your goals, and also use each month to optimize timing for decisions, for projects, or healing. There's so much potential in this, and I would love to share it with you. So now we're gonna shift gears, and I hope you enjoy. Have a beautiful December. And now I invite you to get really comfortable. Start becoming aware of your breath. Noticing the subtleties in your body, any sensations, any areas where you can soften and receive. And I want to invite you to become aware of a golden temple. This golden temple is protected. It is pure. And there is a very comfortable spot in there for you. So in your own way, you can imagine you go through the door. You find a comfortable place to rest your head. And you simply receive. We're going to start with the energy at your feet. Sweeping, lengthening and strengthening. Activating. Recoding. Listen. Inatakua na inakaya takua tanaya takau tunukua. La tuku nutuku tu nuku anayenana. Itaina titainya titanya titanya. Cosmic spiral. Tautu taene tautu natea natua tea natua te nyata. Altua taena tua taenya. Ina tauala. Itana lawaina lainya. Unina nuanainya. Releasing base level need. The survival imprints, karmic imprints, clearing now. If you need to move your body in any way, you need to make any sounds, go for it. Ilata tainya ka tu chinikata chikinya itya chikinya chatakala anala la yana la yana nautu shayala ushayana into the sacral ushayana la shutu yanama. Feeling the energy rising up. Shanu shutu shinya ishinatua shutua. And entering into the solar plexus. Natu tu 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 kutia tika 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 tu 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 yutai. Ita lainya na lininya na lininya na lininya na 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 na. Ina lininya na na lininya na 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 ina lininya na 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 la ina. Bringing it up into your heart. Feeling it swirling around. You might feel like you'd like to put a hand on your chest, moving the energy. Maybe you rub your flesh. Tau tuanya, letting light in. La tua. Itaya tau tua tainya nalai. Hai tuku nai tiki shata kai shata kita tata kata shata kita shata kata tasha elala tuku na tau tuku atenya nakala ina takai na ayanaka to the higher heart takai ni kita taya teke take kapupuku atana kiki kamakan. Up into the throat. Lots in there. Uata. Inana, sharing our light. Inana, inyana. Umutuata, inala, ya. And the third eye, and feel the third eye combining in from that throat, illuminating, sending the light forward, helping you see what you have not yet seen. Ta tu tu ta, showing you, illuminating the darker nights. Sana, you are alive. Sana yanasa. Autuana sita yananana. Enanana. Grounding your visions. Ensuring the support of the earth holds you while you expand your sight. Inta utunu tunu under the crown. Removing other people's ideas, thoughts, beliefs. Ayananana, shifting your column, your channel of light to connect in. Atako atakinya katataitaka, what is only yours, meant for you. Tautuana ina maya kaya no tuana na ina nakai nyanakai nyanakai nyakai nyakai kai nyawai na 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 na. Into your heart it comes. Nakutu nyanakai nyanakan nyananokunu tu nyanakai na tutukunu tuku anta inta tawataminta ite teta kata tata tata atakau atakinya makana. Maybe you even feel your wings and your shoulders expanding. You are a light bringer. You weren't meant to serve alone. You belong in tribe. Just follow the light. You will survive. Chinna tu 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 tu